First of all, compliment you on this film and your performance. It's such a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh my goodness, that means so much. Thank you. I know it's so fun speaking with you.
This was such a creative film. I feel like I haven't seen one like this in a really long time, and it's a fun vibe and a really fun cast. So I want to just jump right in and ask you what originally attracted you to the role of Lisa. I personally loved her and found myself relating to her in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, Lisa's great because she has such a journey, where she starts and I know a lot of people like Lisa. Some of them are in my family, like people who really focus on work and maybe one friend or one boyfriend or one girlfriend, whatever it is, and sort of pride themselves in a few areas, but are a little bit hesitant to branch out and sort of spend their lives in those areas that they've already defined themselves good at. And so the cool thing about Lisa is she, from the start to the end of the movie, she's really challenged herself and like kind of ripped open and through the presence of her best friend coming back and haunting her as a ghost. And she pushes herself. She's pushed by her friend, and she's a bit, maybe objectively speaking, she's a bit behind in matters of love, and she's really good at her job, but she just can't take that next step. And so what's so fun about playing a character like that is the place you start at the beginning is so different from where you end up. And everything I think you see in the movie, it's not just the performance or the writing, it's like even the little touches of hair and makeup, you can kind of tell as she's, her spirit is lifting. You could see it with her hair and everything. Yeah, so that was fun. And also, I mean, really what drew me to the role is the fact that it was about two female best friends. I think if this was just a classic love, like romantic love story between a man and a woman, I might not have done it. But there was something about it that I was like, okay, this feels real. And, female friendships are so intense, and we don't always get to see that explored.
So you led me into my next question beautifully, because as a viewer, I don't see a lot of that. I see very fake ones on the screen, and it frustrates me beyond belief, or it focuses on the romance and none of the friendships. So what was it like to kind of see the final result when you got to see the film and when you were done and when you wrapped in doing those scenes and feeling like you're bringing accurate representation of a female friendship? Because like you said, they don't show the ups and downs always.
Yeah, so our director Steve, who has directed, Mr. Holland's Opus, The Mighty Ducks, Bill and Ted, he was like such an actor's director, and like we had a unfortunate period of time where our production was shut down early on, which is very actually standard in these times with the pandemic. You if something, if there's a positive test somewhere on set, you kind of, everyone shuts down to protect one another. But the flip side of that, the good thing was that we got extra time to rehearse, and Steve just had Vic and I in a room, and we drilled those scenes and really got to the bottom of them. And he took it so seriously, and that kind of, it's always the leader kind of the energy trickles down. And so then, I feel like Vic and I had permission to take that relationship seriously too. So yeah.
I also felt like while this was a very, fun movie in tone with like, and a journey really for these characters, I also felt like there was a beautiful lesson there, and really like kind of being like, listen, our time is limited. Like, love the people you want to love. Like, don't leave unfinished business. Do what you got to do. Don't push it off. And it really opened eyes. I feel like that's going to be something that a lot of viewers are going to see. So did that sort of teach you anything when you were reading the script, when you were, filming, anything like that?
Totally. I always feel like when I'm filming something, I'm so in it, and I'm just like, kind of like, like that's my energy, so being able to reflect on like what I took away from the movie is always something that happens a lot later. And I think for me, it was the first time I got to screen it and watch it. I really did. I mean, I was hit with the idea of grudges or guilt. So much of this film is about people feeling guilty for things that when you actually, we get a second chance, which, most people don't have when they pass on. But like when Cassie and Lisa actually sit down and talk about the things, I'm carrying a lot of guilt for the night she died. She's carrying a lot of guilt for the way she treated me and her whole life. When we actually talk to each other, that guilt kind of was absolved. We absolved each other of our guilt, and all that was there was love. And so it did kind of make me think like, wow, how many relationships have we created this story in our head, these narratives of, oh, I did something wrong, or, I'm too ashamed to address this fight we had. And if you just hit it like head on, probably like the love would overcome any of that conflict. And so, yeah, I think watching it, I was like, oh, wow, there's so many themes about, forgiveness and how guilt and shame sort of like hold us back, because when Cassie comes back to basically haunt Lisa, I think that's a spoiler that's okay to share. We're feeling so weird and bad about that fight we had the night she died that we don't even want to talk to each other. And so, yeah, I think I was struck by a lot of the themes in the movie. And I definitely think the cool thing about this film is it is what it is, for sure. Like, we've seen a similar formula of somebody like passing on and coming back to Earth. But there's a lot of surprises in the film. And like, as you said, like a lot of creative sort of weird choices that keep it feeling fresh.
Yeah. It definitely did. And, you and Victoria were really just so amazing together. Like, you guys created this dynamic that was really believable and really beautiful. And I loved that moment when Victoria is reading the book and they're like, this can only happen for like your soulmate. Yeah. And I was just like, oh. So like, what was it like creating that sort of dynamic with Victoria? And then just like, what was your reaction when you read that as well? Like seeing where that was going to go rather than, just, friends, she's going to be on our list. That's, whatever. They were really key to the whole thing.
Totally. I mean, if you think about it, basically what in the fiction of our film, in the world of our film, they're basically saying that of all the people who have passed on, Cassie's love for her platonic friend, like her platonic relationship with her friend, was so strong it broke the system of like ethereal rules and heaven and so I mean, reading that, it was like, okay, well, this better be an intense, deep relationship, otherwise nobody's gonna buy that, like they're basically saying, okay, you guys are soulmates, and so much so that you've broken the rules of time and space. So I think reading that as an actor, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I better look like I love Cassie a lot. Yeah. And the cool thing was and is that Vic and I had a lot of time, I think, because we shot this during a pandemic and we were in a bubble. Our wonderful producers created this we were like, okay, so when Afterlife the Party filmed last September, we were one of 4 international projects running at the time. That's it. Wow. It was just the beginning stages. And so we were, one of our producers in Cape Town, Vlocky, she created this bubble system, and it was so cool. So we were really not allowed to leave this hotel. And that allowed us to bond, I think, Victoria and I, and the whole cast and crew, in a way that probably in normal times we would not have. Because, after filming, everyone goes home, they do their thing. But there was no escaping each other. And I think that as we rehearsed, we also, after hours and, breakfast, lunch, we bonded and we became friends IRL, as the kids say. I think they say that. I don't know.
If you could create a tagline or a phrase to describe the movie, what would you pick?
2 best friends reunite after death. What will happen? Who knows?
Love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much again. It was such a pleasure. You were such a joy to
Oh,
speak
thank
to.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks for all your great questions.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time. Congrats. I can't wait to see everyone react to the movie.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
Nerds of Color is awesome. I've been looking at a lot of your
Oh my gosh, that
interviews
means
and
the
stuff.
world.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I hope to speak with you again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Movies and TV, yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.